That was the worst. That was the worst. That was the worst. I was gonna do like a really bad kind of, you know, like take a sip and be like, oh, I didn't see you there. I'm just drinking out of my Zelda mug that I got from. Where did I get this from? I can't remember what. Fuck, I got this like a year ago. I can't remember where I got this from. It's actually really impractical to drink out of. As you can see, there's no like little sip area, but there's got this, and it's actually really annoying. So you can just. Anyway, sorry, I'm not here to talk about my mug. I'm here to talk about some indie games that are on Kickstarter and Indiegogo that you can pledge to. Indiegogo is probably the best website that you can look at to I don't know, donate to indie games. So you can, obviously, everyone knows about Kickstarter and Indiegogo. You know, you're like pledging to all sorts to make some random shit. I've been going through Indiegogo and Kickstarter and what little they have about indie games and picking out some of my favourite campaigns that they got ongoing at the moment that you can pledge to. Because they've got there's some decent indie games out there that you know that are not groundbreaking. Like you can't really get groundbreaking with indie games, but you know that are different. I think different from what you expect from a lot of other games today, and that's what's good about indie games. So this is the Kickstarter, a new series, quite literally Kickstarter. Sorry, this is a Kickstarter new series, and in this series we're going to be looking at some campaigns that are kind of going on in Indiegogo, Kickstarter, and wherever else, basically. But today, we're going to be looking at 2 from Indiegogo and 2 from Kickstarter that I found because they weren't too difficult to find. Anyway, let's dive right into the games. First game I want to look at is Champions of the Mountain Homes. What I like about this game, simple, you're a wizard, it's multiplayer, it's classic, basically. It just makes everything simple again. And that's what I like the look about this Champions of the Mountain Homes. Like, you know, you don't get a lot of simplicity nowadays with games for some reason because, you know, a lot of people like to make things quite complicated. It is quite a simple looking game. It doesn't look particularly glamorous or anything like that, which is why it kind of one reason why I picked it for this show is because it's, you know, it's simple. It's not asking for a lot of money. They're only asking for 1,500 euros. You know, they've got 2 months left. They've got 149 euros pledged to this currently. So yeah, they have a goal of $1,500 and they've got 2 months to do it in. I think that's kind of realistic in a way. I think that's one reason why I chose this, because it's very simple, it's very downbeat, it's nothing too glamorous, they're not asking for stupid amounts of money. They're asking for just a little bit amount of money to help get this game off the ground, as one would say. To be honest, there aren't many games out there where you can play as a dwarf or a wizard and play soccer, or football as it should be called. But, you know, there aren't many games out there where you can do that, so that's one reason why. Another reason why I picked this, because it does bring back that couch play. So, you know, that's something, right? That's like a dying art in a way, isn't it? That, you know, couch play. You don't hear much of that anymore, unfortunately. But, you know, it's something that's dying out. So that's why I'm going to promote the shit out of anything that promotes couch play, as long as it's good enough, obviously. But you know, where you can just sit on the couch with a friend, play a game. You know, that's if you're from an old generation of gaming, you'll know that is the that's where gaming was at years ago. You know, that was the pinnacle of gaming, and a lot of people would probably agree that that's still like the pinnacle of gaming now. You know, and I would be in that market and saying yes, that's the pinnacle of gaming. That's where everything should be. You know, that's what gaming is. That's what it's all about. So BVOID, yes. I mean, I'm a big fan of psychological horror games, but this just brings it back to, again, it's simple. It brings it back to what games used to be like. It just brings it back to its roots. You know, it's PlayStation 1 look. It's got that FMX kind of look, hasn't it? Where it's very simple, it's weird, it's unique. You know, it's not kind of fueled by jump scares. It's build up, it's tension. It's, you know, it's weird. You know, it's everything that you kind of want from a horror game. You know, it's what horror technically is what horror is all about. Horror's not just about jump scares. You know, jump scares are overdone now in almost every horror game ever made. But this, you know, it kind of looks like it's bringing things back to where things used to be. Not relying on jump scares, but it's relying on all other aspects of horror, bringing everything into play. One thing I will say about this game is that it has a lot of flashing lights, so if you're very susceptible to reacting from flashing lights, then, you know, then I'd take a step away from this game. But otherwise, it's spectacular in the way it looks. There is one issue I take with the game's campaign so far, and that has to be the perks that you get with donating on different levels, obviously. Let's just take a look through some of them. The $5 one, you know, you'll get the full game when it's released. It's fine, nothing wrong with that. You know, $5 for the game, I'll take that any day. $15, your name is in the credits. You know, that's you know, you get a digital copy of the game too. I mean, that's fine. That's pretty standard for a lot of these campaigns, I think, isn't it? $25, you get a digital art book, your name in the credits, and a digital copy of the game, obviously. But that's also pretty standard. But here's the problem I have, and that is the massive jump to $100, where you get to be in the game. Obviously, I mean that's a pretty big step. You know, you get to be in the game for $100, but it's a lot of money to ask for. Although they got 13 out of the 20 backers claimed for that, so it's obviously working for them. You know, $100 to be in the game, get a digital copy, a digital art book, and you know, getting them in the credits. It's, you know, fair enough to them. That is actually pretty amazing. But you know, it could just be. Oh, I can't even speak. Fuck me in the ass. It could just be me being stingy and saying like I would never donate $100 to a campaign on Indiegogo or Kickstarter or anything like that. But hey, you know, that's the only issue I have, is the massive jump from $25 to $100. And then obviously there's the last one, the highest tier that you could ever donate for. It's $250, where you get to be in the game, get 4 digital copies apparently, digital art book and some other stuff as well. But you know, they actually got quite a few people who have backed this game, which is quite interesting. That's what I like to see, is that, you know, 165 people have backed this game, and that is quite an amazing amount of people to back just a simple game like this. And they've got a month left to reach their goal. They're over halfway there. I think they'll get there, to be fair. I think they'll get there. I mean, I'll probably back it. I'll probably back like $5 or something, you know, because I'm pretty stingy. But I wouldn't mind playing this game when it comes out, and I'm actually pretty damn excited, because we don't get games like this anymore. Where do games like this come along? Not very often. They're like gems now. You know, they're classic. Well, this isn't a classic, but you know, you remember the classic psychological horror games of the past, though, with that unique look to them, a kind of like Silent Hill look to the game. You know, you remember them, can't you? Pretty damn amazing, yeah, and that's why I'm so excited about this. Anyway, let's just move on to the next game. Now, the third game we're going to be looking at as our first Kickstarter campaign of the day, which is Nighttime. It's pretty simple. It's like a combat-based survival game. Players at night, fuck shit up. Nailed that shit. It doesn't have many backers. Like, there's not really too much to say about this campaign, because it's not so well. It's not got a hell of a lot of detail in. But then again, it doesn't really need a hell of a lot to say. It's got, you know, they're asking for £10,486 is their goal, and people have pledged £1,027 so far. With 7 days to go, they have 77 backers. It's not promising, basically. You know, there's not a hell of a lot for this game to go on. There's always games like this coming out, but it's more or less kind of, you know, it's the look of the game, I think, for me, and the music. I quite like the way the game looks. It flows well. The controls don't look too difficult. What does it for the game for me is really the way it looks and the way the music is sounding. Wow. What really does it for the game for me is the music, the gameplay, and the look of it. It looks smooth. The controls look simple enough to play the game. And it's, you know, it's very colourful, it's very cartoony, I think, and the music's very magical and it's fantasy-like. So I think that's kind of what draws me into it a little bit, but I can understand, in a way, why people aren't really pledging to this so much. However, you know, the reason why I understand that people aren't pledging to it is because, you know, it's not really much detail to go on with this game. There are games like this coming out all the time, and it's not really a standout campaign, really. I understand that. But you know, the reason why I'm saying this, the reason why I've chosen this to kind of talk about, is because of the way it looks, I think, and that's what does it for me. Is because it looks beautiful. The game also has quite a bit of diversity to the looks of things. I mean, there are different realms to the game, to the story in the game, anyway, which is pretty good. And each realm looks like it looks very different from the rest. It doesn't look the same. You know, we've got the Frozen Pass Ridge. Well, I'm just looking at them right now. There's the Frozen Pass Ridge, there's the Lowlands Grasslands, Lower Grasslands and stuff like that. You know, it's basically, and the Great Forest, there you go. So basically, by the looks of things, it's very elemental in the way that things are done. There's different elements, obviously, of different areas. You got frozen area, you got forest land, you got grassland. You know, there's, you know, I know forest land and grassland is not a hell of a lot of difference, but there is in some ways, I suppose. But yeah, I just like the look of this game. personally. Just by the artwork and the music alone, it stands out to me. And the simplistic gameplay, you know, I suppose that's kind of a thing for me. I'm not very good with complicated controls. I'm not very good with them at all. If you've seen my most recent video, Celeste, then yes, you will know how bad I am at Celeste. Yeah, I like simple controls. I think one of the problems with the campaign itself, in some ways, is the fact that they're asking for, like, they've got so many different tiers of that they're asking you to pledge for. How many tiers they got? I mean, I'm just looking at them now. The highest tier that they got, that they're asking for 500 New Zealand dollars. They're asking for 500 New Zealand dollars, and you get the title of Fabled Grandmaster Wizard, which sounds something quite cultish in some ways. I don't mean that in a bad way, but you know. But with that, you get a 4K wallpapers, alpha access to nighttime, Android edition of nighttime, beta test access to nighttime, digital art book, PC edition of nighttime, and shopkeeper of nighttime. I don't know what that means, but you know, there's that, you know, for $500 New Zealand dollars, that is, but I don't know how much that is in pounds. But $500 is, you know, I wouldn't donate $500 for that. There are 13 different tiers that you can pledge to in this game. But you know, there's 13 different tiers. That's you know, I think personally that's too many tiers. It's too much going on there a little bit. Especially when there's not a lot of detail about the game, because a lot of the stuff that they're asking, that they're saying that you'll get, is actually kind of, you know, I don't know what it is, you know, because it's not really been explained in the campaign. So if maybe there's a bit more detail with the campaign, then maybe maybe they'll get a bit more money. But you know, that's just what I think at the moment, and I think they should get a little bit more in there, you know, in order to draw in more backers, I think, and to reach the goal of, was it £10,000 pounds that they're looking for. So yeah, they'll you know, I think they've got a bit of work to do with their campaign, and after the 7 days are up, I think they definitely will most likely launch another campaign. So I'll probably keep an eye out for that as things go. So yeah, I mean, it's all right, isn't it? Let's move on to our final one. Right, the last game that we'll be looking at today is Foundation, obviously, because you just saw the video. To be fair, I'm quite a big fan of simulation games like this, city building particularly. You know, so that's kind of what drew me to this at first. But you know, I thought it'd just be the standard city building game that a lot of people like to do and stuff like that. But there's actually a fair bit amount more detail to this than meets the eye. That's why I suppose that you know, out of their goal of £42,175, people have pledged £57,769. So they've surpassed their goal. You know, with 10 days to go, they have surpassed their goal by a substantial amount. At the moment, like 15,000 they've surpassed their goal by. You know, I personally think though, just by looking and watching the trailer, you know, the amount of detail there is into that game, you know, the fact that you can design your own buildings and stuff like that, which is just something that isn't really implemented a lot these days into games like this. So they obviously have a lot of, you know, want a lot of attention to detail to this game. They have got different areas that they are, different tiers that they are pledging for. Basically, not in like the pledge aisle, but they've got different stages that they've lined out on their campaign, which is quite good. That they've hit basically different things that you want to do. Obviously, their most recent one being the DLC witch hunting thing that they've recently just hit, which is pretty good. And the next thing they're looking for is a photo mode tool, which on its own, that's pretty good too. You know, they've lined out on their campaign exactly what they want to do. And that shows that they are really putting a lot of detail into this game, because they know what they want to do with it, they're telling you what they want to do with it, and this is what you're giving your money to, basically. It kind of gives players the freedom to create a medieval city. That's the base of the game, basically, and that's what I'm looking for. You know, that's what has excited me. You know, just that alone excites me. Just, you know, the fact that you can just build a medieval city. You know, why not? Plus, you can kind of make it your own, or you can, like, I don't know, build Constantinople again. Why not? Why not? You know, why not rebuild that city in the digital virtual world? You know, it's a pretty damn good city, to be fair, so you know, I'm probably going to do that. The highest amount you can pledge for is $1,250, which is a lot of shit. You become a beloved leader with that crap. You become a beloved leader. Right, I know I'm stingy, and I don't believe in donating that much, but let's just have a look. It's about £707. They got that underneath, actually. That's pretty good. So it's about £707 in English sterling, But we'll just look at what you include with that. You get some digital wallpapers, Kickstarter exclusive. You get a digital copy of the game, digital copy of Foundation's beautiful OST, gain access to the beta, gain access to closed alpha, Kickstarter exclusive again. I don't know why, I just like it when it says Kickstarter exclusive, it just sounds so strange. Additional content, building blueprint, printable version of our custom-made paper craft model. That's actually pretty good. That's, you know, okay. Every DLC unlocks during the Kickstarter campaign. Become one of the few potential Queen, King, and Pope of the Foundation. Your likeness used to create an in-game piece of concept art. Appear as a beloved leader in the credits. So you do get a fair lot. You do get a fair fucking bit with this game. Now, what's different about this one than the last campaign is that this campaign's kind of looking more to, you know, you kind of know what you're getting at, really. It kind of lines out what you're putting your money into. So I suppose I don't really mind so much why it has so many different so many different tiers that you can pledge to, because they are you know, they're telling you exactly what you want, basically. They're telling you exactly what you're getting, and they're showing you where your money's going. The other campaign didn't really do that, and it's asking for $500 for you to donate to something that you don't really know much about. So, you know, that's not viable. But either way, this actually really excited me when I saw this, more than the others, because it's, you know, it's a simulation game set in medieval times. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this first episode of Kickstarter or Indie. I don't really know what I'm calling this. You guys will know. I mean, I'll know when I'm editing this video, I suppose, but I don't know what I'm calling it. But this is the first episode of whatever series this is called. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly had a lot of fun looking at these games. I'm having a lot of fun doing these types of videos. There'll be another indie news up at some point. I currently have a few issues with my main camera at the moment, which is why I'm using my other camera in a slightly different setup. But once that camera is sorted out, we'll be doing another indie news, definitely. Go check out all the campaigns down below. They're all in the description. They're all there. They're all doing all sorts of shit. You know, there's going to be a hell of a lot more campaigns like this around, so I don't know why I'm flailing my arms around like some madman. I don't know what I'm doing. Please comment, subscribe down below, like this video, give it a big ass thumbs up, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this video. I'll really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.